Do you like my special background? I made it just for this one.
I do. It's really calming and peaceful. And I wish my desk looked like that at home.
My desk doesn't look like that at home either. But nobody needs to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I look like I'm in the cafe. I'm in a meeting room, so I'm echoing quite a bit. I guess while we're waiting, just real quick, we can, just some things that we could do to interact, because it's not an in-person meeting. So normally in meetups, you've got that chance to just quickly say hello and meet people, but feel free to use the chat on the side for saying hi to each other and asking questions and interacting. If you hear interesting points, like note it down and say, yep, that's a really great point, for instance. Feel free to use that feature and we can refer to that when there's different questions. I'm just waiting another minute and then we'll kick off. So thank you everybody for joining and taking a bit of time out of your day. It's Friday as well, and the sun is shining. Actually, afterwards you get a chance to like walk around and enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, definitely. And feel free to ask questions in the chat. At the end, I go through the question one by one if we have got time. If not, then I can maybe send you the answer through Claire if you've got email address of the participant, or we can put it on social media or somewhere. Yeah, we figure it out.
Yeah, we can figure it out. It's all good. Let me just see how many people we've got now. Maybe let's start, because I know it's quite tight. So let's get going. All right, have you hit record?
Yep, I am recording.
All right. So welcome everybody to Take Control of Your Career in Tech. I'm joined by the awesome Isabel Nyo, who I've known for quite some time. Isabel is currently an engineering manager at Atlassian, and she's been writing a lot of great content, and her books are actually on Amazon if you want to check them out, on different things to help you in your career. Oh, that's later. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and I'll hand it over to Isabel.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Claire. Let me just share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Okay, cool. So hi, everyone. It's so good to see you all here today, and welcome officially to this webinar or this meetup, where I'm going to be teaching you how to take control of your career. I'm quite excited to host this webinar for you because I'm not going to be teaching you just about how to take control of your career as a concept, but I also share with you 5 actionable steps that you can start taking straight away. So I want you to realize that you can totally step up and take control and make progress in your career, even if you are just starting out. I've seen so many women in tech with so much potential who are sometimes waiting for permission or an invitation for them to reach for their goals and take action. And I believe that it shouldn't be that way. And I share with you how you can go about achieving your goals. But you just need to make sure that you be implementing what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And ultimately, that's going to help you make progress and achieve your career goals much faster. And what's more, you will become a much more different, much more developed, and much more empowered person in the process. Like they say, sometimes the journey is much more important than the destination itself. Okay, so please make sure that you've got a pen and notepad with you, because you will want to write down tips, techniques, and strategy that I'll be sharing with you. You also want to take notes throughout this webinar so that you can review them later. I plan to share the slide deck somehow, and I send it to Claire after the meeting, and we also have the recording as well, but it would be great if you've got your own note throughout the webinar. So please feel free to take lots of notes, write down ideas and inspiration that are coming into your mind as you listen to me throughout this webinar. Now I want to make sure that you are in the right place with the right frame of mind. So allow me to set a bit of expectation here. This webinar is for you if you have been going through motion and you are feeling like you are not progressing in your career. You often see people in the tech industry that you admire and you say to yourself, you want to be like them. But then there's this fear of failure and fear of letting yourself down in case you didn't make it. Secondly, you want to increase your employability and career security, especially in this day and age. And we all know that job security is almost non-existent. So even if you are the best developer or the best employee at your current company, you could still be made redundant for many reasons that are not within your control. So it's time to really start thinking about career security instead of having a job security. And then you are sick of being overlooked for opportunity. I deep dive into this a little bit as this topic is something that's quite close to my heart. And earlier in my career, I experienced this a lot. I was too easy to be missed, too easy to be ignored, or too easy to be not thought of. But the other day, one of my colleagues told me that it's very hard not to listen to my input or not to notice me or not to recognize my impact. So I guess I've come a long way since then. So if you are not attracting the right opportunity, you are getting ignored, and you are the last person that people think of, then this webinar is for you. And lastly, you are ready to overcome your limiting belief and you want to become your biggest self-advocate and put in the work to achieve your career goal. And if you are that kind of person, then this webinar is for you. But on the flip side, this is not for you if you are just here to find a quick fix, a hack, or something that you can do quickly and get your wish granted. Whether it's about getting a promotion or securing a new job or making six-figure or multiple six-figure income very quickly without putting in a lot of effort. So with that, let's take a look at today you'll be learning about what taking control of your career actually means. And you will learn it by understanding what are the steps that is involved in taking control of your career. Quite often, people get it wrong and they think that in order for you to have control of your career direction or where you are going in your career, you need to become your own boss or you need to work for yourself. They think that it's about quitting your 9-to-5 job and having your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, going out on your own way. And while I believe that you can do that if that's what you want, it's not necessary if that's not what you want. And yes, I do recognize that there are always circumstances that are beyond your control. But even then, you can have the full control of how you think about the situation and how you react to the situation. So this is what I want to talk about in the perspective of your career today. And like I mentioned earlier, I also share with you the 5 specific steps that you can take, which will set you up for success in your career in technology. And lastly, I will cover how you might like to hold yourself accountable for your own career growth and career goals, and how you can keep moving forward with momentum. There's quite a bit of content in this webinar, so I really like you to pay attention. And if you stay until the end as well, I've got a special gift for you. I've put together a downloadable and printable worksheet which outlines 7 strategies to grow your career. I've used these strategies personally in my life and in my career, and also for the people that I manage and mentor at work. And they have made great progress in their career. So I've got that for you as a thank you for investing in this hour for yourself right now and for wanting to take control of your own career. So you will get the link right at the end to download the PDF straight away. Now with that, let's get started. Let me start by introducing myself and telling you a bit about my personal story. I believe that this is quite important for me to be able to connect with you personally at a personal level, because you will be able to understand some of the techniques that I'll be teaching you, and you'll be able to make a connection better, and you will be able to relate to my story better as well. So as Claire mentioned, my name is Isabel Nyo, and I'm originally from Burma, a country in Southeast Asia. A lot of people don't usually know where Burma is on the map, so I've got a map right here for you. Burma is a beautiful little country next to China, Laos, and Thailand. I left Burma when I was still a teenager, and I've lived in 3 countries, Burma, Malaysia, and Australia. I came to Australia almost 20 years ago. My hobbies are reading, writing, and learning new skills. I'm also a little bit addicted to technology, as with most of you here today. And one of my favorite things to do online is to look at memes. You will see quite a few memes in this webinar, and I hope they make your day. While I'm not too busy looking at funny memes, I'm spending time with my family, especially being silly with my 8-year-old daughter, who knows so much more about technology than I do. She knows how to use TikTok. She knows how to make better video than I do. And sometimes she be teaching me how to make like TikTok move and dances. It's quite fun. And to share with you a bit of my career history, I studied computer science at the University of Wollongong. So if you have been to Wollongong or if you study at the University of Wollongong, let me know in the chat and I look you up later. So I studied computer science at the University of Wollongong, and I've been working in the technology industry since I started my career. I've worked as a developer in front-end, back-end, full stack, and then a technology manager such as CTO, head of engineering, and most recently senior engineering manager at Atlassian. And I'm looking after one of our product called Jira Service Desk. So that was my professional background. But I believe everyone here and everyone out there is much more than their career history. So let me share with you a bit more about me and my life. So this is me, and I'm a working mother and a technology leader. And these things that you see on this slide are the important things in my life. They are a part of me. But you might notice that it's not very often that you will come across people like me in the technology industry. As I participated in many meetings, workshops, and conferences as one of the very few women and very few technical women throughout my career, I couldn't help but feel that I needed to do more in representing, supporting, and empowering women in technology. And I realized that the best way to be a good representation is to put myself out there and to be visible online through my personal brand. I like to show the world that being a woman doesn't mean we can't do certain things. We can look after our household, we can take care of our kids, we can create, we can innovate, we can manage teams, we can lead organization, we can even lead country if that's what we decide to do. So I hope to show that with my work online. I'm also very passionate about personal development, career development, and adding value to others and making a positive impact. But I have to say, I wasn't always this way. I wasn't always this passionate. I wasn't always this driven, and I wasn't always this outspoken. And I was definitely always not visible. Back when I started my career, I used to look like this, almost literally. I hated going into meetings. I hated speaking out. I hated being noticed. I never took a seat at the table, literally and figuratively. And these are the words that people used to describe me. I got them in my feedback. I got them in my performance review. And I got them as a general comment that people will make about me in passing. I was quiet, I was reserved, I was shy, I was unassuming, I was nice, soft-spoken, and my favorite one was the coding machine. But later, the person who gave me this comment told me that it wasn't really a compliment because they said I often show no emotion and I always seem very neutral about everything, like a machine. Anyway, that was who I was because I was brought up that way. As someone who has had an Asian upbringing and had grown up in Southeast Asia until I was 14, I grew up with this belief that asking questions to anyone in authority or challenging the status quo was a bad thing. So this was a picture of me when I was around 13 or 14, just before I left Burma. So you can, well, try to find out which one I am, and you can let me know in the chat and I have a look later, but one of these is me. So in school, back then in school in Burma, we were taught to answer one teacher asked question. And it was considered very rude to do the other way around. So even if you've got questions for the teacher, you are not supposed to ask them, or you are not expected to ask them. You are just expected to listen. So my motto had always been to keep my head down, do a good job, don't question too much, don't speak too much, and good things will happen to you. And good things in terms of like getting recognition for my work, or getting an academic award, or being praised by teachers, because you are considered a reliable and a hardworking person. But then I had a light bulb moment a few years into my career when I was working as a developer, because I kept being passed over for recognition, promotion, interesting project, or even a chance to attend conferences. And I realized that it was because I never spoke up for myself, never share my achievement, never share with others what I wanted or what I like doing or what I enjoy doing. And people had this opinion of me that is not at all desirable. I want to share this saying with you, and I want you to remember this because it's so very true. If you are not taking control of your own career, you can be sure that others do it for you. And I can guarantee that you are not going to like that version that people have of you, because it won't be aligned with what you enjoy doing, what you like doing, what your strengths are, and what your values are. So after realizing that, I decided to make a change. It wasn't an overnight decision and it wasn't an overnight success, but we have only got a few minutes here today, so I quickly get to the point. When I decided that I wanted to be known for who I am, my values and my work, I didn't know where or how to begin. But I knew that I had to start somewhere and start taking action. So what I did was I observed others, I read books, I educated myself, I invested in myself, and most importantly, I took consistent action. So if you can relate to my story, and if you are in the same position that I was 10 and 15 years ago, I'd like you to start talking about tangible steps that I've personally taken, and I would like you to start thinking about them. And then the changes that I've made in my life and my career. And I like you to start doing them because they are not easy, but they are quite simple. And all the progress that I've made in my career, becoming a leader, being my own brand, being a go-to person for the field that I'm interested in, and being able to make impact doing what I like and I love, like doing public speaking, sharing my knowledge, all of this that I'm experiencing are because of the decision that I made to take control of my own career. I'm grateful for everything that I've received, but most of all, I'm proud of it because I took charge of my own career and I got to work rather than waiting for someone or somebody to give me the permission or the invitation. So I'll be going through the 5 essential strategy or the steps to effectively set and achieve career goals for you as a woman in technology using relatable example and best practices. So let's get started. The first step or the strategy that I like to recommend is for you to look at what's out there. We all know that the technology landscape is ever changing and always advancing. If you were working hard, keeping your head down on a project for the last few months and forgot to look outside, you've probably missed a few things. I know this for sure because when I came back from my maternity leave about 8 years ago, I was so surprised at all the new technology and changes that happened while I was away just for 4 to 5 months. So to give you an example, I was a developer at that time, and every developer I knew was using Subversion or SVN before I stepped out of the loop. And when I came back, it had completely taken over. So when I was applying for a job, then the interviewer would be asking me about Git, and I had not heard of it before. That was because I didn't do my research and I didn't look at what was out there before I tried to put myself back in the game. So my recommendation for you is to look at what's out there. Maybe there's a technology a framework or a tool that catches your interest. Maybe there is a role that you didn't know existed before. So look at job description of roles outside of your own domain that you are already familiar with. So roles like technical lead, scrum master, technical product manager, program manager, solution architect, DevOps engineer, and data analyst are fairly new in the tech industry, but they are quite popular these days. So have a look at LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Seek, and there are quite a few like job search site, not just in Australia, but also in the States like Moonstar, to understand what companies are looking for, what's out there, and what skills and roles are in demand. There's a saying that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this applies to setting your career goals too. If you don't do enough research, you won't know what's out there. And if you don't know what's out there, you won't be able to set career goals that will help you to stay relevant in today's technology landscape. The second step or the second strategy is to understand what you really want. So after you've done a bit of market research and have seen what's out there, you need to look within yourself and understand your own desires. So how do you understand your own desire? So you can do that by asking yourself these questions. What would you like to be doing in your ideal role? What excites you and motivates you every day? Is it learning new skills, be it a programming language, a framework, or a pattern? Is it building products and seeing them used by customer? Or is it working with other people and collaborating? Or is it solving a customer pain point end to end? Your answer may likely be different to anyone else's answer, but it's a good thing because we are all unique. We all don't want the same thing. It'd be a problem if everyone wants the same thing. So don't try to compare what you want with what other people in the industry want. So for me, it took quite a while to really figure out what I wanted, but I finally figured it out and I want to share this with you. So I do love technology and I'm excited by what technology can do, but making an impact through technology is what really motivates me, such as building something amazing that gets used by millions of users or helping others in technology achieve their goal through their work. So that is exactly why I'm doing what I do today as a senior engineering leader as a technology company and building products that are used by many people and organizations out there and helping developers and engineering managers do their best work and make an impact. So you want to set career goals that you will feel excited about achieving and going for. You want to be motivated to go an extra mile that is required to accomplish your goals. This will ensure that you are able to get back up when you fail or face challenges often. And let me assure you, you have definitely faced challenges. And these challenges will be faced, some of the challenges that you face will be quite unique as a woman in tech, but you will face a lot of challenges. So you need to make sure that you really know what you want so that you don't get demotivated so quickly when you are faced with setback. So all this has to come from within yourself internally rather than from anyone or anything externally. After all, these are your career goals and not anyone else. The third strategy is to set SMART goals. Once you understand what's available out there, you want to take the next step in your career and you are ready to make it happen. And the first step in making it happen is goal settings. Goal setting is not new, but there are a few things that I want to introduce to you which might be new to you. So I also think that setting goals is not hard. It's very simple to understand what it is that you want, but setting goals that you'll be motivated to achieve in a timely manner is not easy. So I like to introduce you to a learning framework called 70-20-10 model. As women in tech, you do actually learn a lot by doing the work, so this is appropriate. With the 2010 model, 70% of your learning will be hands-on learning and on-the-job learning. 20% will be social learning through exposure or others who had already done it via coaching or collaborative activity like peer programming. And only 10% of learning should be from classroom or traditional way of learning, like books, video, or any other learning that you used to do like in a classroom. Each of them has its own merit. So when you are writing down activities for your goals and when you are setting your goal, be sure to include all of them in a 70-20-10 format. So let me give you a bit of a specific example here that you might be able to relate better. So for example, if you want to become a front-end developer, you don't need to read all the books on the market about CSS or JavaScript. You don't need to watch all the JavaScript videos. You don't need to enroll in all the React courses. And you don't need to subscribe to every web developer website. Because if you do that, you will end up with an information overload. Instead, what I suggest you do is to come up with a small project idea. Do it and then read and learn only what is necessary for you to complete that project. So let me deep dive into this a little bit. So for example, you want to learn how to create a web app end-to-end in JavaScript. So starting it can be as simple as creating a static page with links to your favorite websites. And once you achieve that, you can tackle the next step in your goal. This could be talking to a third-party API and displaying the 5 most recent articles, for example. I'm trying to give you a very specific example so that you get a clear idea about how to apply the learning framework and how to make it on-the-job learning. So that is about the learning framework of 70-20-10. The next best practice that I like to introduce to you when setting goals is to ensure that each goal is SMART. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So specific, what does it mean by specific? Specific goals ensure that they are well thought out and they are not vague or general. So instead of having a generic goal, like for example, become a better developer or a software engineer, a specific goal will say, learn the basic concepts of data structure and algorithm, which will lead you to becoming a better developer. Measurable. This quantify your goal so that you know exactly where you are with your goals and if you have reached them. For example, instead of saying learn React framework, a measurable goal will say create an interface in React that reads JSON response from a third-party API and display the results and refresh the result every 30 seconds in like 10 days or 20 days or whatever it is that you want to put it. So it is very measurable and you'll be able to track the progress much easier. A stands for attainable. Having ambitious goals are good, but if they are not realistic, then there's no point in having such goals. That's my opinion. So for example, if you've never had an experience with machine learning algorithm, you can't expect yourself to write a system that offers a personalized news feed based on a user search story in like 2 or 3 days. It's just not achievable. R stands for relevant. This ensures that your goals are relevant to your overall vision or objective. Just like the saying, never lose sight of your vision, a goal that is not aligned with your vision is just an activity. So quite often people will say that they are quite busy and they are working hard, but when you actually look at what they are doing, it's not aligned with what they want for their career and it's not aligned with their career vision. So you want to be careful about that and you want to make sure that your goals are relevant to the vision that you have. The last one, T, is timely. This one is pretty straightforward. So in agile software development, we have a concept called time boxing, which is allocating a maximum unit of time for an activity. So similarly, when you are setting goals, having a timely goal means that you have a deadline for when you want to complete the activity that you set up for the goal. So you want to make sure that you are tracking well and you know when you're not tracking well. Without SMART goals, you won't be able to track or measure how you are doing. So that's very important as well. The other important thing about setting goals is to make sure that you don't set goals for more than 12 or 18 months in advance, because chances are things will change in the technology industry and you will change as well. So I want to recommend that you review your goal periodically. So say, for example, every 3 months or every 6 months, and have a regular checkpoint. Your ambition and your career vision can be for the long term, but your goals need to be specific and short term. The next step of the strategy that I want to introduce you is about creating a personal brand. Regardless of whether you want to be a full stack developer, a DevOps engineer, or a product manager, it pays to have a personal brand. If you want to stand out among other people in tech industry and have opportunity arriving to you and reputable tech company reaching out to you, then you need to have a personal brand and you need to set yourself apart from a sea of other people in the tech industry. So please include this as one of your career goals. Be seen everywhere and create a personal brand. So what does a personal brand look like? For a developer, having a personal brand is slightly different than having a personal brand as a marketer, for example. In some way, it's easier because you are going to share your knowledge and your lessons and your skill to the world instead of trying to sell a product or service. But in other ways, it's the same because you are selling yourself and your capability through your personal brand. So here are a few things that are great to have for a personal brand, especially for people in the technology industry. The first one is a place where you can show your work. So for a developer, it could be a GitHub account that shows your contribution to open source project and your own projects. Secondly, a personal blog sharing your knowledge and learning. So for example, if you are a developer, you can have a blog teaching other developers how to debug code and how to optimize website and things like that, if that's your area of expertise. Or if you are an iOS developer, you can do the same in that topic, like how to write like apps in iOS, how to make sure your app get approved by the Apple Store and things like that. So there are quite a few topics in the niche that you would choose. When I was a developer, I never ran out of content idea because I will be developing every single day in my day job and talking to other developers. And I basically just convert that learning and conversation into blog posts. You can read more about my blogging journey on my website if you are interested. My website address is on my Zoom background. The other thing that you can do to create your personal brand is to be involved and seen at industry meetup and conferences. There are a lot of them these days, just like Women Who Code, and these one are, there can be like quite specific one or generic one. So for example, there are generic one for software developer, and there are also more specific one for a particular programming language or a framework. And you can choose the one that is aligned with your career goals. And the other thing that you can do, which is quite effective, but not many people like to do, is to be a speaker at events. So I know public speaking is considered very painful, and it's more painful than getting your teeth pulled out. But I encourage you to try and take baby steps, and that's how I did it as well. I'm a non-native English speaker, and I actually don't like public speaking, but I'm doing it. You can see me doing it right now. And you can see that it's not perfect either, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because as you practice and as you put yourself out there more often, it gets easier. And it is also very rewarding because you are able to share your knowledge and add value to the life of others, and at the same time, be your own personal brand and known for the things that you are passionate and you are good at. And lastly, we all use social media these days, and we are all on social media. So try to be active and helpful in social media. It's all good and fun to put about put picture about your dog and stuff like that, and which is good, which is all personal. But if you've got something interesting to share about the industry or something you learn at work that you think other people would find value as well, then try and share them on social media. So I personally find that Twitter and LinkedIn are better social media platform for developers and technical people than Facebook and Instagram. Like I said earlier, having a personal brand is a career goal in itself, and the one that you want to have sooner rather than later. It increases your visibility among a sea of people, improves your employability, and last but not least, it will help you become a more rounded professional and a leader and a thought leader in the field that you are in. And now we are on to the last strategy. The last strategy is to be accountable. A lot of people give up on their career goal way too early. Early in my career and earlier in my management career, I help and mentor so many developers set their career goals and help them move forward. But my return on investment was not great. When I saw them again in a few months or a few years, I asked them how they were doing and if they had achieved their career goals. And a few of them, or quite a few of them, will actually say that they hadn't, because they were either too busy in their current job or everyday life activity like relationship, children, marriage, and paying bills had taken over, and they lost sight of their career goal. So it's also not about not having the time. If you want something bad enough, and if you want to make progress, then you will make the time. So I can hear you asking, how can I be accountable and really execute on my goals? How can I keep the momentum going? There are a few ways, and I'm gonna share 3 ways that you can do, or 3 options that you can take in order to keep yourself accountable. So the first option is to find an accountability buddy who will check in with you periodically. It's better if your accountability buddy has got similar goals so that you can help each other out. So for example, in this Woman Who Code group, you might be able to find someone who has got similar goals to you, and you can become each other accountability buddy. Option 2. Option 2 is to hire a coach who understands what you want and helps you become accountable and drive you to take actions. This option is not free, but it's very effective. I know this because I've hired a career coach for myself too, and I have made a lot more progress than being my own or working these things on my own. Because the truth is, when you pay someone and you've got the skin in the game, you will put in the effort. And if you can, I suggest you to pick someone from the technology industry, because you want to talk to someone who has gone through and achieved what you want and understand the challenges and also possibility in the tech industry. I do one-on-one coaching for a bit, but the investment is not small, and I also don't have a lot of time. So I'm introducing a group coaching program so that I can help more people more effectively. I talk about it a little bit at the end of the webinar for those who is interested in this option. The last option is to rely on yourself, to push yourself through. Use the tools and systems available out there to help you set the time aside to take action. You have to be very disciplined if you choose this approach as your accountability approach. It's not easy, and I understand. Honestly, I myself would rather be scrolling through like social media feeds, watching Netflix, or catching up on sleep rather than writing a blog post or contributing to open source project. But sometimes you have to push yourself through because you know that you've got goals to achieve. So if you don't have an accountability buddy, or if you don't have a coach to hold yourself accountable, then you got to push yourself through. So that is the option. So to wrap up, there are 5 steps to taking control of your career in tech. The first one is to look at what is out there. Understand what's going on out there, what are the new technology framework, or what are the new rules, and what are the skills that are in demand. So have a look out there. Secondly, understand what you really want. What excites you and motivate you every day, if you don't need to worry about anything else. And from there, you can try and understand what are the roles that would be good for you and what are the career goals that you really want to achieve for yourself. And the third one is to set SMART goal. Don't forget to apply the framework 70-20-10 and make sure that your goals are SMART. The fourth one, create a personal brand. Start sharing what you know and don't be afraid to be visible online, and don't be afraid to make mistakes from time to time, because the truth is when you put yourself out there, people will see your work and sometimes people will judge your work, but it's okay, because if you are not putting yourself out there, then you are already failing in advance. At least when you put yourself out there and when people let you know that you've made a mistake, you learn from it. So it's pretty good. And last but not least, be accountable. All of the things that I'm sharing with you today is no point if you cannot hold yourself accountable to achieve your career goals. So we are coming to the end of the webinar, and I'd like you to really start visualizing what it is that you want in your career for yourself. So I'm gonna pause for a few seconds and I'm gonna ask you to think about it. You can close your eyes if you want. And I've got a few pictures here for you to have it as an inspiration, but let's try and picture the future you in your mind and your career vision. So I'm gonna pause for a few seconds. Okay, so let's all come back to the present, this webinar. Do you know what you want, or were you able to picture it? It might not be a complete picture, but if you were able to get a rough idea, it's still good. So the question that I have for you now, or the question that you might be asking now for yourself, is how do you get what you want? The answer is quite short and sweet: by taking action. There's simply no shortcut to success, no matter what kind of success that we are talking about, whether it's confidence, career, finances, health, or just life in general. However, I truly believe that there's one key thing to becoming successful, and it's not luck, talent, or intelligence. It's persistent. To achieve your goals, you need to be persistent with your effort, show up consistently, and take action. Let me give you some examples. So for example, if you want to be hard at work, start speaking up in meetings. If you want to show your work, then start talking about them. If you want to become a manager, then start mentoring others. There's something that you can start and start taking the immediate next step forward. So I want to show you what my life looked like these days. I'm doing things that I enjoy. I speak internationally, I write books, I spend time with my family, and you can see this is quite the latest picture because we are all wearing masks. And I have a great relationship with people that I work with. And I believe that I've made a positive contribution to the success of others in the community and in the tech industry. I still don't have all the answer, but I'm okay with that. I am always learning and growing, and that is the most important thing to me. And if I can do it, I truly believe that you can too. It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And I want to be an example of what is possible. Now, let me talk a little bit about the program that I'm launching in 2 weeks, and I'm opening the enrollment this weekend or early next week. So you will be one of the first to know about it. And if you choose to enroll it, then you will be guaranteed a place in the program. It's called the Career Clarity Program, and the outcome of this program is that you will create an actionable plan for the next 6 to 12 months that is based on what truly lights you up and is in total alignment with your career vision. But it's not just a plan that you create. Through this program, you also gain the right mindset and know-how on achieving your career goals. What I want is for you to enter 2021 with complete clarity, take control of your career, and move forward in the direction of your career vision. So if you're interested, here is the program outline. And if you are ready to take action and start investing in yourself, you can go to the link that provided on the screen and read more information and sign up if you choose to. I'm limiting the number of sign-ups so that I can devote my time and energy to only a few people at a time. So in each cohort, there will be a maximum of 15 participants. There will be live classes hosted on Zoom every week over the 6 weeks with recording and action steps so that you know exactly what to implement in your career, be it a mindset shift or a technique for time management. The reason why I put together is I am always sharing my knowledge with people through forums like Meetup and stuff, but there seems to be a need for people to really have someone to hold them accountable and take action. So there will be an assignment and homework for you to complete at the end of every week. And because I truly believe that knowledge is nothing if you don't apply yourself. And through this program, I will help make sure that you are applying yourself. Okay, so we have made it to the end of the webinar. As promised, here is my gift to you, and you can download it right away. You can download this PDF worksheet on 7 strategies to grow your career. And I really recommend you to print it out because there's something about writing things down or writing the things that you have in your brain and writing down on pen and paper. And apparently it's 42% more effective. Okay. I really like you to start moving forward today in your career because I truly believe that we are the lucky one in the technology industry. Being in the technology industry is awesome. It's a privilege. We are in the midst of technology disruption. As we can all see here, lots of the jobs are going away, but in technology it's still growing and there are lots of exciting things happening right now. And we can see firsthand how technology is changing every day in every aspect of your life. However, to be able to ride this wave of technology disruption successfully, we need to be aware of our surroundings and have career goals to support us in our growth. So after the webinar, there are a few things that I want you to do. First, I hope you have been taking the notes, and I would like you to review your note and turn your insight into action item and action step. For example, if you really resonated with creating a personal brand, maybe the first action that you might like to take is register for a domain name, or even if you don't want to do that, you can update your LinkedIn profile and start writing about what is it that you can offer to the world and what are the things that you are excited about doing, and start sharing your knowledge. Secondly, get excited. Remember what you have learned today and apply this learning in your daily life. You have to do the work in order to move forward. If you want, you can also sign up for my newsletter where I send you an email with career advice every week as well. And lastly, if you want more guidance and help, and if you want to take it up to the next level, think about finding an accountability buddy from someone within this group or signing up for the program that I recommended earlier. What I want to do is I want to help you navigate common challenges that women in technology face and give you try and tested strategy and make you feel supported so that you can show up and take consistent action without being overwhelmed. All the things that I have done in my career, I want to teach it to you, and you can do that by enrolling into the Career Clarity program that I shared with you earlier. And if you want to use your learning budget that your company has provided, you can do that as well. But if you do that, please let me know because I need to provide you with a receipt or an invoice so that you can claim it. So I like to leave you with these words from Steve Jobs, who said it quite perfectly. So I give you a few seconds to read it yourself. Okay. So I hope to see you take massive action. Remember, you need to put in your best effort, stand out from the crowd, and really own your career to achieve your goals. Everything starts with having career goals and a vision for your own career, and you can make the choice to create them today and follow them through consistently. And I hope you have picked up a thing or two today and you are inspired to take action. Feel free to connect with me on social media and check out what I've got out there for you. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter. You can just go to my website and see what are the resources that I have out there. Okay, so we have got about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna stop sharing and have a look at the chat window to see what questions you've got for me. How exciting. Oh, 45 questions. I don't think I can answer all of them. Let's see. Okay, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions as well. Let me see. Where can we access the recording afterwards? So I will share the recording with Claire. I don't know, Claire, if you can, if you've got email of everyone or not. What I'm gonna do there is.
Yeah, I can email everybody who's RSVP to the event. So just keep an eye out. It will come through from the meetup group, but I can email everyone who's RSVP'd.
Yeah, and also you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. My LinkedIn is on the meetup. So if you send me a message through LinkedIn, then I can send you the recording as well. That's fine. Okay, what's the next question? That from, someone was guessing which one I was. Yeah, I tell you, I think I was the left one on the bottom. Yeah. And I was definitely not the tallest. How do you get a role that you are interested in without having prior experience? So that's where knowing what are the skills that these roles are looking for come in handy. So you want to start doing like a bit of a skill gap and skill analysis, and you also want to like try and get like opportunity in your current role. So for example, a lot of developers that I know want to become a product manager. So what they start doing sometimes is they start taking projects that has got like different aspect of the project management role, and they can gain skills this way, and they can slowly build up their skill. And you can also like do projects like pro bono project that you don't get paid for, but you still get the skill, and you can also like promote these when you are looking for a job. So you need to think about creative ways to do that. Okay, this is a specific question about promotion. How can I show to my manager that I'm ready for promotion? So I'm a manager myself. So when people come to me and say, I'm ready for promotion, then my first answer is, okay, tell me why you think that way. You need to convince your manager. And remember, people hate selling. They don't want to sell anything, but every day we are selling either it's our product, our services, or ourselves. So when you are telling your manager that you are ready for promotion, you need to come with the proof or the justification on why you think so. And if this is the first time that you are speaking to your manager about the career growth, then it's not a good sign. Like career growth with your manager should be a continuous conversation, and you want to let them know what is it that you want for your career. You don't suddenly turn up after 1 or 2 years of working with them and say, I'm ready for promotion. So this is why I think it's very important to have your career goal and personal development plan so that you can use this in your career. I'm gonna try and answer a question from a different person. And it's good to see that people are answering as well and like providing their thoughts. So It's really good to see you. I think one thing that I really like about community is people helping each other and support each other. And sometimes you get that more from like meetups or programs that you join rather than at work, because sometimes at work you don't necessarily want to be seen as someone who is wanting a promotion, even though I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But sometimes you want to be seen as someone who is hardworking, someone who is very easy to talk to. Well, I don't know why. I think we are programmed that way naturally, and also especially with women in tech. I cannot find a question with the question mark. I'm skimming through, so people are not.
I think there's one on time boxing as a part of goal setting. Can you elaborate on what you mean by this in the context of SMART goals?
Okay, so I mentioned it a little bit. So for example, if you are learning how to become a front-end developer and you pick a project for React, so time boxing, you would say like, okay, there are like 5 steps to creating this React app. I'm gonna give myself 3 days to create the UI interface. So that's the time boxing. So like your time box is 3 days. It's very similar in agile environment where you have got like epics and then story, and you would say, I give this story like 3 points or whatever that number that you use for your team, and then that's what you do. And it's actually very good because sometimes I also have a list of things that I want to do myself, and if I don't time box them, I can take ages. Say for example, I'm going to write an article. If I don't put like 2 hours, then I can take 2 weeks. So it's also a good idea to make sure that you stay productive and you are not like looking at social media or talking to other people or watching video, because you know that there's a dedicated time where you need to achieve what it is that you want to do. Okay, I think we are at the right on time. So what I want to say is thank you so much for joining me and Claire today, and thank you for being so engaged throughout the webinar. I hope you learned something from me, and feel free to connect with me on social media. Have a good weekend, and it's the long weekend for Sydney, New South Wales.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Isabel. It was a fantastic talk. We will follow up with links to the resources that you posted, as well as feedback. And one last call out, we've got another event on October 14. This topic is on performance. So we're still looking for a couple of speakers. If you know of anyone or interested, please reach out. We do have someone, but we'd love to have a few more people on. All right, I won't keep you any longer. Go enjoy the sunshine and have a wonderful long weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.